Well, hello, Windy City Block by Block Real Estate Show. My name is Dawn Haley, and I am your host, and I'm always so happy to come before you and share relevant information about real estate. And today, I'm going to go back and discuss the Cook County appeals process. I talked a little bit about it last week in my show, and I just kind of glossed over things. And after the show, I my husband and I we received our tax bill, and to our surprise, our taxes went up about $3,000. I kid you not, $3,000. And that was a big jump, especially coming from where we were, and then now $3,000. And of course, you got to figure all that into, your new mortgage payment. So, and I know we are not the only ones that are dealing with the increase in our in real estate taxes. So, I decided that I'm going to do a show strictly on talking about real estate tax appeal. Now, I'll be frank, we're using an attorney. So we've been using an attorney for the last 4 years, 4 years. Yeah, the last 4 years. And that's only because one day we received a letter, because you guys are probably receiving those letters. If you haven't yet, you will, of attorneys asking for your business. They'll get your taxes reduced, assessment reduced, and you won't have to pay them anything unless they are able to get it reduced. And so I just told my husband, I'm doing this, and I know what I'm doing, and blah 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 blah. And so he decided to still send it, and we did, and it came back, and our taxes were a little less than what I was doing. So I'm basically, if you can afford to have an attorney do it, by all means, please do. And I'll put some information of attorneys in the link so that you can reach out to them and see if you would like to have an attorney to do it. But if you just don't feel it's necessary, you can do it yourself. If you've just been given the guidance, well, this is what my show is about. So, but before I go on, please like and share my information, because without my audience, and then, hey, it's just good to be sharing it, because I really do enjoy sharing information that could possibly help you in terms of saving money. So we're going to go ahead and get started, but please. Like my show, because the more people like, and if you something on there you don't like, please tell me that too. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and get started. And the first thing I want you to do is I want you to get a pencil and pad, because you're going to be writing down a lot of information. And I usually just get a blank sheet and just write. So that's what I suggest you do. Just get a blank sheet, and with your pen, because you're going to have to reference your PIN number and any information that you're able to use to help you find comparables. What is the difference between assessed value and property value and market value? And assessed value is simply this. No, market value. Let's start with market value first. The market value is what a buyer is willing to pay and what a seller is willing to accept. That's market value. What assessed value is pretty much the same, but the assessor will determine what they feel your property is worth based on the collective information that they get in the area that your property is in. And most times it is less than market value. Yay. Because if it was based on market value, oh my God, most of us would not be able to afford our real estate taxes. So that's one part in that's one great thing about it. And so that's a good thing for us to understand the difference, okay? Because a lot of times when I was first doing it, well, my market value has gone down, but it's not based on market value. It's based on assessed value. So that being said, let's talk about what is the first place you need to go. Well, I'm gonna put all the links to all the sites that we're gonna be going to, and I'm also gonna put it in the chat so that you'll be able to just hit it and go straight to those particular websites. But the first place we want to go, is to the assessor's office. And why is that? Because that's where you're going to start. And I want to give kudos to the director of the Cook County Assessor's Office, because they have put a lot of information on their site to help you navigate through this process. And because even though I've been doing real estate for 30 years, it still confuses the heck out of me too. I'm still learning stuff and trying to understand. So I can imagine if someone has never appealed their taxes, this information can be overwhelming. But the one thing that they do, they do have a video that you can watch that at least give you an idea what the process is all about, because you still need to understand, how you start, what the expectations are in filing, because if you don't file the information correctly, you might risk not getting your application accepted. So, but starting out, you do want to know when your appeal calendar is open. And so I live in Thornton Township, and our township opened up August 8th and it closes August 9th. I think, yes, August 8th and it closes August 9th. Now for the city of Chicago, you just need to know that it hasn't been determined. So if you look on there, most depending on where you are, you could be in Hyde Park, a variety of areas, but just make sure you look at your tax bill. This tax bill will tell you what the amount that you owe. It'll give you your PIN number. It'll give you and the township that your property is in. So you'll know what township to look for when you're looking at the deadlines. But for the sake of what township I'm going to be working in is Thornton Township. And again, I repeat, you have until September 9th to file for your appeal. So we're just going to go back to the main. There we go. And so, as I said earlier, there are a whole lot of steps to this process, but one of the things I would recommend that you do is understanding. It's a section on here. Yes, there's a place that you go to. It's called the official rules, and it'll give you a lot of information as to what you need to do in order for your application to be accepted. And you want to make sure you understand, if not most of what they say you need to do, because it will get to a part when we're filing, and I'll kind of go through that with you. If you don't fill the information out correctly, then you're not going to get it accepted. So it's so important. So read the rules and regs for them accepting your application. Now, some of the things you gotta do in order to get started. One, you need to understand the characteristics of your property. You can go to their they have a section where you can go to put in your PIN number right here at the bottom. You put your PIN number in there, and I'll go ahead and put my PIN number in there so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. You put your PIN number in there. It's telling me I put the wrong PIN number in there. So, and then, you know, you just got to be careful putting the right information in there. Okay, now I'm not a robot. All right, so can we try this again? You gonna let me in? There we go. So you can get your property detailed information right in this section here. Your characteristics, you can just drop down. It can tell you some more information right in that area there. But you know what? I'm going to give you a simpler way to do it. This is good. This is good. And if you have a way to print the information, I highly recommend printing it so you can have your resource right next to you along with your pen and your paper. But what I do is I go to the tax portal. Yes, I go to the tax portal. The tax portal, you can pretty much do the same thing. You'll go ahead and you'll put the PIN number in. I'm going to go ahead and put the PIN number in. See, did I do that right? Yep, I sure did. I put the PIN number in. And from there, you'll see you can get property characteristics. And I'm going to go ahead and write down some numbers for myself so I can, when I'm talking to you about it, you can understand hopefully where I'm coming from. So right now, my assessed value is $14,408. And the lot size is 5901, and the building square footage is 1463. And I'm going to already tell you the information that they have for my particular house is wrong. And how I know that is I've got an old appraisal that provided my square footage for my home, for our home, and square footage for the building lot. And so right away, I know that that information is wrong. So I'm going to provide a old appraisal for my attorney to be able to use that to at least to find an error in that information. And hopefully that will help towards lowering our assessed value. Now, the next thing, you just want to, if you, like I said, if you can print this information, it makes it a lot easier for you to have. But if you can't, write it down so you know as you're looking for your comparables, you want to keep properties that are in line with your property. So the next thing that I do is now I will go on to I will go on to what is called Cook Viewer. Cook Viewer, why do you go here? Cook Viewer, you can go ahead and you can put your PIN number into this particular website. And so I'm going to go ahead and accept their terms, because unless you accept the terms, you're not going to get in there. So I accept the terms. And to your right is the aerial photo. That's what I use. That makes that's an easier look for me. And maybe that'll be the same for you. So I change it to the aerial photo, but sometimes you got to go ahead and put the PIN number in first before it changes. So I'm going to go ahead and remember what I said. You got to reference that PIN number. So I'm going to go ahead and put my PIN number in there again. All right. And once you put the PIN number in, you won't have to put the last four, because it'll just kind of drop down. And so you click it. And now it's going to give you a list of other properties that surround your property. And you're going to know that it's yours based on the information that you put in, because it's going to be highlighted in blue. So remember I said I like to use the area photo. It makes it easier for me. Now, what you would do once you find your property on this aerial photo, you will begin to write down all the PIN numbers that you believe are similar to your property. And if you got to do about 30 of them, so what? I mean, you may not have to do 30 of them, but the goal is you've got to find at least 6 comparables that you can use to help you to lower your assessed value. So I'm not going to write them all. I already, since I've been doing this, I already know a PIN number that I'm going to put in. And remember, I wrote down the characteristics of my property. So I'm going to go ahead and put this PIN number. I'm going to go back to the tax portal, because remember, I've used this to get PIN numbers. That's what I use the Cook Viewer to do, to get the PIN numbers. Now, once I am able to get the PIN numbers, I'm going to go back to the tax portal. And there's a section where you go where it says search again. So it'll give you the prompt to put the PIN number in. And so I'm going to go ahead and put a PIN number in that I know is similar to my property. All right. And with this one, you're going to have to put all 4 the zeros in there. So I go ahead and click search. Now, remember what I said, that you look for the characteristics of what's similar to your property. And I see here that the lot size for this property is 57, so that's close to mine's. And then the building square footage is 15. It's very close to mine's. I mean, as long as it can be more, but you want it to be around, again, similar to yours. You want it to be very close to your characteristics. But in this case, I don't mind it being more, because when I look at the assessed value is 13,882. So that's a comparable that I'm going to use when I'm submitting, or, well, in my case, I'll be given to my attorney. But that's a comparable that you would want to use. As long as that assessed value is less and it's the characteristics of your property, it looks very similar to your property, that's one that you're going to want to add as a comparable. And you would continue to do that until you find similar properties that are assessed less with the same characteristics of yours. Then after you gathered those 6 properties, then the next step you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go to the Cook County online assessment portal. Now you'll be able to find it. Let me go back. You'll be able to find it. Let's make sure. You'll be able to find it on the home page of the Cook County Assessor's Office. You'll be able to find it. It's right at the bottom. It says you go to the this particular site. But before we go there, once you find your comparables, I should have went back to say this. Once you find your comparables, let me go here. Once you find your comparables, you're going to want to put them in this section here. And so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put that comparable that I was able to find. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in there. And I say, I'm not a robot. Got to keep doing that over and over again. All right. Now, this is a property that I'm going to use. You want to make sure there's a section here where you have to click in order to print, for it to also print the picture of the property. So once you go to print the property details, you want to go and print the property details. Now, I could not find where it just said print. So, oh, wait a minute, there it is. It's at the bottom. See, you're learning something new. So I would go and you hit that print. Now it's going to bring up your printing queue. What you want to do is make sure that you have saved as a PDF. So once you hit save as a PDF, you're going to want to save it in a file folder that you have, and you save it in there, so that when you're ready to file online, then all you have to do is just find those files and upload it to the site. So remember that. And then they want you to also indicate the property address. You call it, what you're going to call it is a comparable the property address, and then you save it. Okay. So I'm not going to save this, but I just want to show you what you do. So we're just going to get out of that. Now, after you've again gone through all your 6 properties and you saved them as a PDF, then that's where you go to the site. And again, like I said, you can find the site right on, you can go to the link to the site right on to the Cook County Assessor's Office, and you kind of open it up. Now, if you've never ever filed for an appeal online, the first thing you're going to need to do is to create an account. And once you create that account, it will send you a verification link. Don't do this if you don't plan to really go back and start to complete this process, because you don't want the link to come and then you don't verify it. And I'm not sure if you don't verify it after a certain time, the link is dead or what. But just make sure when you create an account, you're in the process of doing this, because you for the essence of time, 30 days can go by very quickly with life and all kinds of things that happen. So you want to go ahead and create one. Now, I've already created an account. All right, so I am in. I've created my own account and I am in. And so one of the things that you want to make sure, because again, it can be daunting if you don't know what you're going in to file. So the only thing I can tell you is you want to do the CCAO Appeals 2021 Real Estate Assessed Valuation Appeals, residential with a comparable grid. That's what you want. Again, you want the 2021 Real Estate Assessed Valuation Appeal with comparable grid. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. All right. So it tells you to begin filing. And so that's what I'm going to do. And I'm not going to go all the way through this process, because again, I told you that we are using an attorney to do this. So I'm just trying to walk you through some of the things that you're going to need to do if you decide to do this on your own. So at this point is where you put your PIN number. Remember I said you got to keep that PIN number and you got to have it referenced. So that's why you got to write all this information down and have it close to you. So I'm gonna go ahead and put our PIN number in. All right, and it's gonna say search. Oh, I forgot one thing. See, now it's gonna come back. Oh, it gave it to me. I didn't think it was gonna do that. So it looks like you can either put the PIN number in or you put the property parcel address. So I went on ahead and just put the PIN number in. So this is it, and it has a little section over here where you start filing. So, and it just tells you, your township, and if it wasn't open, then you would get a notice here that it's closed, but it's telling me it's open. So I'm going to go ahead and agree to everything. Boom and boom. I'm agreeing to what they're asking. All right. Now, in this section, it may have already auto-filled the information. So you just want to make sure that that's correct based on what's on your tax bill. You want to compare that, make sure it's the same information, because you don't want to be filing for somebody else. You want to make sure you're filing for your particular property. And so all the information is correct based on the information at the top of the tax bill. So that information is correct. And so I will hit next. Now the PIN number, it'll ask you here for certificate of error. Now, what that means is if for some reason you did not get your homeowner's exemption, because that's the things you got to look for too. When it's not, may not necessarily be that it was not assessed correctly. Maybe you're not getting your exemptions. So you want to make sure you're getting the exemptions that you're entitled to. And if you find out you're not, or you haven't, this is the section where you would have to indicate that you did not get your assessments for whatever year that was. And so, but for myself and for my husband and I, we get our homeowners exemption. So I would just go right past that. And if you're getting your homeowners exemptions, then you would do the same. So the next section is asking if you got duplicate pins. Now, I don't have duplicate pins, so this would be the time that you would add if you had a duplicate pin. That's where it would go. But I don't have a duplicate pin, so I would just continue on. On this page, the next thing you would do on this page is you would click that you are the taxpayer owner. You would click that you are the taxpayer owner. And then you would click this box if your name did not pop up here, so that you will have an opportunity to put the name down there. Okay. Then you would put the address, you'll fill in all that information. And you got to really be careful, because if you don't put the information in there right, the zip code, it will, some of these things they'll block out. I don't understand. You would put your phone number. Put your phone number in there. Let's see. All right, you put your. So those are all important. You want to make sure you got all that information correct, because the email and your mailing address will be the way that they communicate with you. So all that's good. All right, all that's good. So I got a green check that was done correctly. Now on the next page, is where if there are some changes, the next page is where you would put that information.
Smaller large.
Now for me, it will it'll tell you the age. You want to make sure the age is correct. You want to make sure that the other information that they have, this is the time that you want to make sure that the information is correct. Now there's 2 areas on here that's wrong for my house. They've got my square footage wrong, so I would make the correction there. And then they've got the land wrong too. I would make the correction there. So I made those corrections. And after I take a look at that and I see everything else, they missed I have a 2-car garage. And so I would take a look to make sure all that information is correct. And you want to look at it very carefully. You don't want to just gloss over it. You want to, not just gloss over it very quickly. You want to go through it very thoroughly to make sure that the information, because what you put here is what they're going to determine or use to determine if your assessed value is correct, or if it needs to be higher or lower. So you want to make sure this information is accurate. So I would hit next. And then this is where the next page is still just asking about more information. They're asking more information, and this is where you would put what you think your assessed value is. Since I have an idea, this is what I put down there for my assessed value. And how you would determine that is by once you get all of your 6 comparables, and you see the consistency in the assessed value of the other properties that you're looking at, then I would go for the average, or if you want, go with the lesser of the 2. Why not? At this point, what you're trying to do is to get it down. So I would either put the average, what that is, what you're seeing, or the lesser of the 6. And then, all right, so you would continue and put that. So any other additional information, it asks you how is the subject property used. And, again, you want to make sure you want to go through this, make sure you're answering the questions correctly. For me, I think I got everything in here. It is used as a single family. Check here if the property was purchased. It was not. So I would hit next. If you make a mistake, it'll tell you. And so you'll have to go back and figure where that problem was. So, what I missed is, what is my reason for the appeal? And I would say over overvaluation. That's what it, and then it'll tell you why do you feel it's overvalued, and I'll say the square footage of my home is 1460. I mean, you would want to put some information why you think it was evaluated, and that's what you would put. You would right here is I did not indicate a reason why I want reason for the appeal, and you want to be careful that you make sure what your reason for that is. And for me, it's overvalued because my square footage is a lot less than what was indicated on the assessed value. So I made that change, and then I hit next. All right, this next page or this next section is where you would go if you want to add any additional information to your application, and anything that you need to include or exclude. And that could be some things that shouldn't be included on your house because that does not exist, or it can be the opposite, that you've got something that you want to include. And so that can go either way. And if there is anything that needs to be modified, then you would do it here in this section. They also have an advance where you can put in your lands. If there's a question about your land size that's not correct, you would put that in there. They've done a very good job of putting more information in there to help you appeal. If you've got if you can show proof that your property should be assessed a lot less. So anyway, like I said, they have advance. And it can get, like I said, it can get daunting. And then they also have their search engine where you can just ask the system to generate listings or PIN numbers for you so that you can use. And I would say this: if it would be nice if they had put where you could search. You had already done your homework, and you can just search that particular number. And then it'll just pop up, and then you just click it and add it. But that's not that. It's not going to be that simple. So if you want to spend time going through, and I'll go ahead and open it up as here, search, add selected properties. Oh, it's not. I got to do that first. Find comparables. So you'll see what happens. It'll generate properties in your PIN area that they have identified that are similar to your property. So if you want, which I don't recommend, you can use what they have, all the information that they have here, and you can kind of add in that if you don't want to do your homework and just kind of do it that way. But you would still have to do your homework. You would still have to go on and go to the tax portal and make sure that property is very similar to yours. You just don't want to just come here and just start pushing buttons and not really doing your due diligence to make sure that the properties are similar to yours. And I know I sound like a broken record, but really that's what you want to do. So but if you're able to find properties that are similar to yours on here, then use them. But I still say do your homework. And the problem that I see here is you can't search what you've already determined are similar to your property. You can't just instantaneously grab them. You've got to go through their entire series of numbers to find your property. So you can either do that, or there is a section up here that you can add. You can add comparables. You can add the comparables. You can go here where it says attachment. And this is where you would go down to comparable property pins. And this is where you would, once you have saved your property information, this is where you would add those properties. You would go in and find wherever you saved it, attach it, and continue to add those properties to your comparables. And from there, see, is this the last part of it? Next. Now, this is the last part. You would put your name, your phone number, and your email address. And this is where then you would submit it. But remember, I'm not going to submit mine because I'm going to have an attorney to do this filing for me. So I hope that the information that I shared with you today, you can use that to help you to navigate through filing your appeal online. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to call me. I love to be able to provide any information. My number is right here. Call me. My email address is I'll put that in the chat where you can email me if you have any questions there again. But if you feel that this may be too overwhelming for you, by all means reach out to the attorneys, or you can do your own homework and try and find a tax appeal attorney. Make sure they're tax appeal attorneys. They do that. That's a part of the service that they provide to their clients. But I just want to thank you again. Follow me. Share this information with anyone that you think could use it, or they just received their tax bill and they don't know what to do. Please share. And I thank you. I hope everyone has a great evening and take care of yourself. I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Bye now.
I see you in my thoughts and in my dreams. When I'm awake, you're almost next to me. When we're apart, I'm longing for your face. I need you here, I'm feeling out of place. My heart is yours, I'm giving it to you. No matter what, I always will be true. Next time you're here, I'll never let you go. You're everything I ever need and more. So let's flesh attend to flesh, come alive. The earth is crying sweet. Take whatever that you want, you are free. The moonlight's whispering. Flesh and flesh. Take whatever that you want. Flesh and flesh. Sing your pretty words into my ear, knowing exactly what I wanna hear. For one night only, naked in your arms, I'll do my part if you do yours. So let's flesh attend to flesh, come alive, come alive. The earth is crying sweet, earth is crying sweet. Take whatever that you want, you are free.